Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Why the Hell Not podcast. I'm Vlad Lux. I have Bang Bang with me. How's it going?
Hey, it's going well.
So, I met you through work, actually.
Yeah.
It was so funny because I didn't know, much about you, and then we were in the smoking section, and you started playing this track, and I was like, this is the dopest fucking thing I've ever heard. And then you showed me, all the stuff you've been doing. So let's just start out, kind of give a brief overview of yourself, kind of your career, and the things that you're doing right now.
All right. Well, yeah, my name is Bang Bang. My real name's Alexandra. I come out of East Los Angeles, California, but where my art kind of cultivated itself was in the San Gabriel Valley. And it kind of started, in early roots in hip hop and stuff. And then it just started going everywhere. Like, producers would find me, and I was that kid that, would come into studios and trade murals for studio time. So it was weird. Like, I'd be rolling around with paint and shit. And I'd con people into getting a mural, for studio time. But little did I know, like, that started my early networking, and then I got to know producers that threw me into little events here and there. And along the way, I met, like, Waka Flocka, or, just people that kind of involved me in their projects through osmosis, just through being in the room, I guess you could say.
That's crazy. So you say Waka Flocka. You're making a track with LA Riot, correct?
Yeah.
So talk a little bit how you made that connection. How is it going to be released on Nest?
Yeah,
correct?
Actually on Nest. It's pretty cool. Right now, we have a couple projects coming out. He even landed me an Issa Rae, which is like the Issa Rae movie, which is called Lovebirds. It's due to come out in springtime, 2020. Dennis or Latriot, he's very ingenious in his approach, because he'll take like something really street and he doesn't bother him polishing it. He just kind of, throws it down the label's throat, and they receive it because the music itself is packaged so nicely, but the content's so gritty. Mm-hmm. And that contrast just makes it, it's like dangling a steak, especially in today's market where it's just oversaturated with like a one common theme.
Yeah.
So when you take like, the ratchetry of today, or millennial content, and then you throw it over some house, or tech house and shit, like it blends. It's like butter on toast,
Yeah, the song that you showed me, it was like you rapping, singing over it, over like this sick fucking house beat, like this dirty ass house beat, and I was like, damn, that is a dope ass track.
Yeah.
So how you have management, right? And how did you get involved with your management, and kind of talk about your entertainment career? Because I know that you not only DJ and produce, mm-hmm. but you also songwrite. Correct?
Yeah, man, I bounced around like in all levels of music, like, even like the way we met. Like, I'll build a stage, I'll perform on the stage, I'll break it down,
Yeah.
But when I first started, it was just hip hop. Then I made an extension of myself, which is Bang Bang. I started as Germ Free, and Germ Free does battle rap. It was funny because Drake and certain people seen my little battle raps that started on YouTube, but it became like a cult following that secured my bag. Everywhere I went, these people would show up, and I could guarantee that I'd always have a cult following in whatever I did. So through word of mouth, I was able to participate in different projects. One of them was Slash, and that was almost like the break from heaven. It was the biggest cosign I ever got in my life. And that happened through meeting Troy Duffy, people like Big Chris Flores, who took a shot at me. And Troy Duffy, creator of Boondock Saints, even went as far as creating this whole video for me. It was probably $500,000 of material that went in for free. Just people, Big Arts Entertainment put together the welding, the material, the pyro, everything fell into place. So I felt like maybe from 2014 and on, I've been freestyling life. Like every day I freestyle it, but I find that everything lines itself up, and as long as I follow true north, whatever's compelling me to like create this style of music this time, or operate under this name or that, I split my aliases up so that I can maneuver the way I do. So if I want to do some gritty hip hop shit, I'll be Germ Free. But if I want to do some like, highbrow, maybe like EDM style music and shit, I'll be Bang Bang. And if I want to, just ghostwrite, I'm Elda Alexandra. So I create extensions of myself so that if at times they want to tune out, I can.
Yeah, and also so that your name has a brand behind it.
Yeah.
And has a specific image. So talk about some events that you've just did, and then any future events you'd like to point out.
Yeah, we've been doing a lot of the cannabis shows, a lot of Curious Entertainment, the Queen Mary events. But right now, my sole focus is with DJ Tatianna and, Latriot. We're doing a little more of an EDM collection, but specifically Tech House. And we're doing EDC. We're doing a couple of other shows. I'm not sure that I can mention a couple of them, but South by Southwest is coming up. So, side project I did is with Loomis. So I took interest and I started Missy Ellioting, a friend of mine. And I started creating the music for her. But she also, she had her input. So as we're meshing together and merging our networks, we got to Timbaland. And now tomorrow they're signing a deal. So that's great.
Wait, so your friend's signing a deal with Timbaland tomorrow?
Yeah. All due to the connections we put together for her. So, I've been creating extensions of myself where I'm not just wearing one hat. I could be composing in one moment, or I could be curating, or I could be a consultant for a film. The other day I was, at Dom Kennedy's shoot, riding in the back of a truck, like type shit. So you never know. But I follow the art, and it's religious to me. It's almost like an experience. Every day I cater to, where True North is pointing, wherever the art's taking you. And sometimes it requires you to put in a little work, Yeah.
Yeah. It seems like you do so much. Like when you started showing me this stuff, I was like, why is this girl working at this place? Like you do so many things. Because how I met you was basically audio technician, AV tech, where we set up and strike, speaker systems and small stages and stuff like that. And you showed me, and you're like, look, I'm in this, isn't it a FaceTime commercial or something?
Yeah, actually it's the Apple Face ID commercial.
Oh, yeah. Apple Face ID. So talk about how you got that and kind of how that all worked out.
Yeah, well, my boy Latriot, Dennis, shout out Dennis White House Music. He's from a former group, Static Revenger, and he puts together quite the collections. So he hit me up with this track called Nice. And I remember we went to, I think it was Interscope where we were at. And I called my friend Loomis, who happened to be with me. We were at Weenie Roast. And he's like, you guys got to come down to the studio. You just have to come down to the studio. And we were already late as it is. And we're like, bro, we might blow him off. Limp Bizkit's about to come up. I'm just so glad we ended up ditching that part, and went straight to the studio. So who the fuck gets to record at Interscope anyway? You know what I mean? Yeah. It's not like an everyday occurrence. So we showed up there, and Dennis, being the professional that he is, already had like this videographer and everything lined up. We had no idea what we're walking into.
You're like walking into.
So Loomis and I are half drunk, and we're like, "Fuck it," and all you hear is this track called "Nice." And we're looking at each other. Are you for real? All right, nice. Fuck it. But it was just so catchy, and the beat was just so happy, and we're like, let's just do some vibe out shit, Anyways, we did a couple takes into it, and Dennis is such a professional. He's like, next time, don't show up high. When we left, we had no idea what that was. We had no idea what that was about. We were like, all right, cool. A couple of days later, he already had a campaign, a banner, and all kinds of shit for it. We're like, what the hell? And he goes, oh, yeah, by the way, this is the Apple Face ID commercial. Yeah, you're all over TV. You're welcome. I'm like, what the fuck?
So random.
Yeah. No, but then he's like Lego Batman to me. You don't know where he goes, where he went. And when he tunes in, it's like, it's some news, but it's big news. And then he disappears again. You're like, what the fuck? So yeah, that's like, he's the ideal like management situation, because he only tunes in if there's news. There's no filler. There's no, and I've always believed that if you're gonna do anything in this world, always have a producer and a gangster, or that type of thing in your life.
So if you could give any tips to up and coming producers and DJs on kind of how to take themselves to the next level, or how to get proper management, and how to make your brand the place it needs to be, what would you like to tell them?
There's a couple things. Watch out for if anything sounds too good to be true, normally it is, you know. Don't be so eager, so green to jump into anything. Always check references. It's always good to run people through your network, you know, just to kind of see if their story checks out. There's a lot of fly-by-night type individuals, and if people haven't done anything in 10 years, it's something to definitely question. You also want to make sure that you don't get too eager to sign anything. Sometimes it's okay to wait for that back pay. You know, you don't have to wait for an early buyout. Sometimes, you know, young artists tick themselves like, oh, I'll take the immediate
because they're so excited.
Yeah, and which I've done a couple times too. You take the immediate buyout, which is fine, and in the back end, you're sitting there watching revenue come in. Like, yeah, and you're like, damn, that could have been me. So, you know, it's all. This is why, if you're an artist, it's okay to have a job. It's okay to have your day-to-day. After you clock out of that life, you clock into a new life, which is all day long, 24 hours a day, you play a role. It doesn't matter which hat you put on. You could be a father at this time of day. You could be you're sustaining a role. So you have to clock into these lives either way, you know? So just be very attentive to the moves you make. Your name has weight, especially in Los Angeles. And if you burn somebody, they all know.
Yeah.
So in Los Angeles, watch out. You know, definitely in management type situations, you want somebody that has a strong network of producers. You don't want just attorneys, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely getting a strong network of producers is very important. So Bang Bang, do you have any upcoming releases you would like to talk about?
Yeah, there's something in the works. There might be a song with Skrillex coming up.
That's what I didn't want to say it, but
I'm excited.
Like, no, because
so there's a song we created. It's called Spector, and Spector, again, Dennis, he just comes and drops these beats. He's like, Crystal Method folder. I'm like, what the fuck is this? You know, and it'll be a bunch of beats from like DJ Richard Humpty Vision, Crystal Method, Solomon King beats or Grab It. You know, he just has folders for me. So, and some of these guys, I won't even know who they are because the titles of the tracks are weird, like number 3, number 9, number, you know. So I'll just click on it and I'll receive a beat, and it's kind of my assignment, and I don't know where it comes from or anything. And I shoot it back to Dennis, then he's like, oh, we landed this or we placed this. So this happens to be one of those things. So Spector kind of grew legs and now took a form of its own, and now it's getting remixed and all kinds of shit, so, which is cool. Dennis has plans for some other songs. I just landed an MTV placement. Again, it's just creating catalogs because it's infinite what I could do right now. It's the future's female, so I feel like in the theme of things happening now, you know, the way our society is moving, the more female related themes, the more the music kind of has that emotional tone, that emotional rational thinking. You know, I feel like that's always going to have a success.
Yeah, I mean, a woman singing, like so most of my favorite electronic tracks has a female singer, and kind of like you said with society, I mean, women, they've always ran the world in one sense or another, how you want to think about it, but now women are actually kind of at the forefront of social issues and of the culture in a sense. They kind of push, and I mean, if you look to like hip hop, there's always been like Lil' Kim and women who have been like strong, outspoken rappers, but as of now, there's way more than there's ever been.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, women are taking over almost every genre, like slowly, you know.
Yeah.
They kind of are like at that forefront. So, so you're mainly a vocalist, correct?
That's what I'm focusing on right now. Well, that and Ghostrider, because I've learned to, you know, as time passes, as my age progresses, you know, and you kind of hit a cap. So I learned to kind of Missy Elliott my situation, and those that can't do must teach, you know. So I sit back and I pick talent now, and I help grow their brand too. So as I sit there, you know, I still have my equity in their project, but I extend that through the writing. And now, like, you know, I could help an artist brand themselves. Now, there's only been a formula that I know to work with because it's been special for me. It's actually worked for me. But I can't say that my formula itself is a stencil for like anybody else's blueprint, because we're not sure. I happen to have things that in spite of themselves work for me. One of them being my odd voice. People are like, you sound like Jennifer Tilly, you sound like a Brida Chucky, you sound like and I get it. Sometimes it works, sometimes the nasaliness doesn't. But in music, it could translate differently. There's ingredients that make different artists special. Some people have a shtick. Other people, they have a relevance due to the timeline of things. Maybe their message is political, and some people, just because it's female, and there's a large demographic are just gonna land with it.
Yeah, I mean, there's multiple ways for an artist to blow up. You have like the person who just makes like god tier music, and it kind of has that wholesome brand of like, here I am, this is what I do, can kind of go in any direction. Like for instance, like Porter Robinson.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Who's the guy? Zed. Why did I forget Zed? But like people like Zed, and then there's people like blatantly, like a lot of like porn stars are just getting into electronic music because they are showing their
right?
body.
Yeah.
They know they'll get clicks from guys and stuff like that. So there's like a shtick, like you said, or like a specific, maybe like the dude's like, he gets a bowl cut and he's like wearing a weird outfit and he makes funny videos, but he also makes music. There's many ways to like use either yourself or tweak your brand to have people click. And then when you have the good content, like a lot of like I think it's Darcy Dulce or something, she actually has good tracks and mixes, and she's like touring, and she's probably as big as a DJ as a porn star. So you can use those like kind of shticks to get your name out there, but then you have to have the content to back it, or you're gonna fall short.
Absolutely, you can't be one dimensional, and if people catch on real quickly, you know what I mean. It's pointed out that the internet's merciless, so yeah, you see it often. No, but I feel like, especially if you have a shtick, secure your bag, because it's not going to last very long. You know what I mean? People want the what else, the next thing.
Yeah, a lot of one-hit wonders, a lot of like 10 minutes of fame.
Yeah,
going on, especially in this world where it's like viral videos and stuff like that.
That's why you got to give it up to dudes like Drake, who I wasn't a fan of Drake right away, and I remember a lot of dudes came at his neck. But you got to give it up to guys like that, because they find a new artist, and no matter who the new artist is, they somehow have a song with them. And that's how they keep, they feed on youth blood. Like they stay,
like
they stay young and relevant and forever, preserved in their cocoon, because they're feeding off the youth of new music, and that's how they stay in this circle. And these little guys have to depend on the weight of this big artist, which is what a lot of, now that we're in this topic, a lot of DJs do that. They'll find other DJs and suck them under their umbrella, and they're ghostwriting for these massive producers.
There's so many ghostwritten DJs that they just kind of ride under the coattails. I mean, there's a lot of DJs that'll play festivals that don't have any track released as a solo. It's all collabs.
Well, can we knock these people? Again, it goes under the shtick. It goes under, it's like a book editor. They're not, the publishing company isn't the person writing it. Sometimes the publisher holds the bigger name. So to help this writer, the publisher has to become the writer, in essence.
I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I think it just kind of depends on what you want to define a live performance. Like, is it an artist showcasing his music, like a concert, or is it a like entertainment, like a crafted thing where it's more of a show?
Are you a performing artist or a recording artist? Are you an artist, or are you just a conceptual artist? Like, so every person has a level of their art. I think when you understand and define what you are, people gravitate to it, and that's how. If you're a spokesperson for a generation, cool. You're a Kendrick Lamar. You have a strong message, so you get these timeless followings. And then there's people that just fly in, fly out, or tragedies that, you know,
Like
that
Juice
take
WRLD.
over. Yeah, even the angst of being an artist will take over. Yeah, even the angst of being an artist will take them out. You know, like Avicii. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of people that are just out of high school and they get thrown, maybe don't have a lot of money and then get a shit ton of money, and they live that rock star lifestyle, and they don't know how to kind of keep it in moderation, and you lose really.
You trip out. Like, you give someone that doesn't really, you know, come from money, you give them that opportunity, and the first thing they do is blow it on some dumb shit because it's all they know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the same thing. It's like, you know, since we're on the topic of culture throwing itself away, why not look at what the SoundCloud generation did to itself? You know, all these kids are killing. They're the single parent family youth that had to raise themselves because their fathers are probably drug addicts or in jail, and these kids are drowning themselves in lean, killing themselves on pills. And who's winning? You know, the companies throwing all the jewelry down our throat, all the Pfizer, you know, all the bigger all the secret shadow companies are winning, and the music's going to trash. Yeah, but it's become literally a billboard. You know, that's why it's the billboard. But it's become a billboard, just an ad. So then you get these real artists that come in from left field, but they actually have angst because they're going through some shit, like the Extentaciones, and then they die. Mm-hmm. You know, or the Mac Millers, and they're cut off too soon. But it's because, you know, the young people of our generation, we lack spokespeople for the soul. We don't know how to transition well. We don't know how what to do. It hasn't been war in a minute, so there's nothing that's provoking real thought or provoking a real uprise or uproar. And, you know, this is why grunge music died, really. It's just that people got happy once again. They went back to Disneyland, and everybody's into pop music, and everything okay again. And, you know, the Jonas Brothers, and that's what I'm saying. Everything's okay again. But it takes a shaking in the culture, I think, for good music to start up again.
Yeah, I mean, I think not necessarily the problem, it's just kind of the nature of the demon, is that maybe 0.5 of 1% of artists make it on their own with just their content. Like, there's thousands of artists who make amazing songs that will never blow up because they're just, you know, don't have the marketing team. They don't know how to approach this.
Or they're not the triple threat. Yeah, you don't dance. What do you mean? You don't sing. You don't act. You don't. Yeah, you gotta. It's weird because it's so competitive. Like, I was just told that the other day, you know, we're doing a showcase, and they're like, well, you don't dance. And I'm like, well, my artistry doesn't involve that. Like, I'm more of this type of artist. And, you know, right away, like, a label just look at you like, next, you know, because they want Selena Gomez up there. They want, you know, when people see the cookie cutter format, they think that this applies across the board up until, like I said, once something shakes society for a little bit, all that we know goes out the window, and then the music, I believe, gets better. It's something that has to provoke our youth into angst again, and that's what's going to happen. Right now, it's everyone's killing themselves out because there's a big depression wave, you know, and it's the theme of it. Too much money causes depression. I believe that. It's just people don't know what to do with it. You're unsure who your friends really are. You're unsure if things naturally gravitate to you anymore out of the juice you have. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I would say that if you don't have like a strong circle of friends going into, or, you know, family, whatever you want to, whoever your family is, friends or whatever, if you don't have that going into blowing up, the chances are you might think that you have friends around you, but you really can't trust the people. I mean, because how many people, you know, want to hang out with a guy because they know their meal's going to get paid, or they can smoke blunts, or...
Well, perfect example, 6ix9ine.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, this guy had to buy his friends, buy the clout, buy the image, and, you know, when the IRS is catching up to you, and the feds are catching up to you, know, and this whole facade you've been paying for, you know, to keep your music sales going and all that, when all that crumbles, and now you're just left to being the man that you started off as, but now you got all this legal shit, you know, attached to your name, and now you can't make music no more. What happened? So the music, people don't realize music isn't just music, it's a movement. So when you start the wave, you got to be careful because it's all the shit that follows after it. You might just be making songs, but little do you know, maybe you're the next Kurt Cobain making a wave of music that people are literally, committing suicide to, or people are partying, or maybe you're R. Kelly and people are having babies to your music. You don't know the effect of your wave. But
I don't know if people are still making babies to R. Kelly.
Probably not. They're definitely fucking teens to R. Kelly. That's for sure. Yeah. No, but that's what I'm saying. Music's a powerful tool, bro. It's a very powerful tool, and you get to know people, and it'll open up portals, and into acting, into that, just other avenues. Music itself is powerful,
Mm-hmm. So, just to kind of go over, what we've been talking about. Do you have any tips for people on how to kind of make their first steps into growing their brand in terms of like a marketing scale? Because I know you're really good at marketing.
Well, I can be. I feel like you should get with the publicist to an extent. Cashmere Agency is one of my favorites, just because like people that usually go into that just plunge and they're plummeted into the next level right away. Cashmere Agency is a great place to start, actually. But when you adhere yourself to a publicist, they'll kind of let you know off top, hey, this is an event you need to be at, and you kind of cut the bullshit. You're not just showing up to shows on the dry. Like, you kind of know who to meet in the room, and then you do your follow through.
Oh, okay. So like kind of strategic networking.
You have to, because you can't just, sometimes, you could be at a party. Maybe you met a DJ or three. What do you do then? What now? So you got the business card. Now what? Nothing's going to happen. But when you have a publicist and the weight of what they do, and the after parties as a collective, if they umbrella certain names, certain brands, certain people, it's great if you adhere yourself to that, because they take you as a collection, with these people down to the next party, down to the next event. And as you're seeing, through osmosis, you're part of this circle, this next wave coming in. Then you do it with press. You start showing up to things that like the BMI writers camps and stuff. It seems beneath a lot of people, but these are places where you meet producers, people that probably are at the level where they'd rather teach versus be in the studio. But these people will connect you to the next. This is how I started meeting a lot of the people that I started doing film stuff with. And it's just from camps. Like, it's a person through another person. Just, you got to get to the professionals, and it's not going to happen through LinkedIn. Yeah. It's not going to happen through your Facebook. It's not going to happen through Instagram.
It's going to happen in the real world.
You have to get with the publicist. You show up to the shows. You shake a hand or three. And maybe they don't call you back the first, second time. That same publicist is going to take you to the next show where that same collection of people are at. It's persistence. And when they see you there, make sure your brand looks clean. If you're doing a performance that night, if it's a showcase, have your set ready. Have everything going for you. Do not show up with don't half step. That's all it is.
Yeah, when it comes to like marketing and being ready for that. Sending a message on Facebook Messenger never works. Like, a cold call, like, especially for a big artist, they're never gonna see that or react to it. Like, there's really no chance. We are getting kind of close. So how can we find you on Instagram, Twitter? Shout out.
Start off on Instagram. All roads lead there. At B4NG B4NG _LA. It's bang bang, but the fours in there.
So do you have any closing statements, any shout outs you want to give to people?
Latriot, definitely Loomis. I want to give a shout out all my people at Activated Music, the good people at Amped. Everybody that's tuning in right now. Shout outs to you guys, and thank you for letting me in.
Of course, thank you so much for coming, and hope to have you back very soon.
Thank you guys, and remember, pay dues or you're paying dudes.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Why the Hell Not podcast. Bang, bang. Good night, people.
Good night.